Well, hello there, road warriors and dream chasers. Welcome back to Six Figure Trucking, Week 28. I'm Tom Bell, your host with the most, the midlife trucker, trading corner offices for open highways and still looking sharper than a freshly printed logbook. This is your weekly fix where I spill the beans on my compensation, my logs, and that sweet, sweet home time. So grab a coffee the size of a fuel tank, buckle up, and let's roll into some wisdom with a side of snark. Before we dive into the dollars, miles, and hours of week 28, and trust me, you're going to want to see those numbers, let's talk about the one thing that makes or breaks a trucker's soul. Home time. You know, that glorious moment when you stroll through the front door, the kids still kind of know your name, and the dog doesn't growl like you're trying to steal his kibble. Home time is the gold standard, folks. It's what keeps your family from slapping your face on a "Have you seen this truck" poster and your spouse from wondering if you've joined a cult at the Flying J. Now, if you're thinking about jumping into this crazy, beautiful world of trucking, or better yet, hitching your wagon to Cheeseman, where I proudly park my rig, you got to put home time on your radar. Over the road and regional driving? Yeah, it's not a desk job where you're home for dinner every night. You're living on the road sometimes, like a modern-day cowboy, but with better AC and a killer Spotify playlist. Me? I'm no stranger to being away. Back in my military days, I was deployed so much I practically had a timeshare in the desert. Then, as a big shot executive, I had commutes longer than a Tolstoy novel, meetings that dragged like a bad karaoke night, and community events that were just fancy excuses to eat questionable expensive dinners. Man, I miss those expense accounts. The kids are grown now, and my wife, the world's most awesome fifth grade teacher, I couldn't do it. Well, she tests her patience and jumps in the truck with me for a couple weeks each year. We're like Thelma and Louise, but with fewer cliffs and better snacks. Still, home time matters. And not all carriers are created equal. Some will tease you with 2 days off, but plot twist, it's just a 34-hour reset. Newsflash. There's 48 hours in 2 days, folks. I didn't go to Harvard, but I can do that math. Others offer 1 day home for every week out, which sounds nice until you spend half that day stuck in traffic behind a minivan full of screaming kids. That's why I swear by my CHECK acronym when picking a carrier. Write this down. Culture, home time, equipment, compensation, and knowledge. Home time's number 2 for a reason. It's your lifeline to sanity. You want a carrier that gets you home enough to keep your life together and keeps your wallet happy. Cheeseman, they nail it. Through week 28, I've logged 1,062 hours of home time. That's 44.3 days for those of you keeping score. That's time to mow the lawn, hug the family, and convince my dog I'm not a stranger, all while hauling freight and stacking cash. That's the Cheeseman difference, folks. So if you're eyeing a trucking career or thinking about rolling with Cheeseman, factor in that home time. It's not just about the miles, it's about the moments that matter. Now, enough of my Dr. Phil impersonation. Let's get to the good stuff. Week 28's compensation, logs, and more coming right up. Stick around because it's about to get real juicy. First, we'll talk about my logs for the week. I was paid for 2,825 dispatched miles. I had 3,234 logged miles. Let's look at my unedited pay statement for period 27 of 2025. This includes all trips from June 29th to July 5th. Empty miles paid $33. A holiday paid $150. Loaded miles paid $1,804, and stops $57. Total earnings for this week was $2,045. 28 weeks into the year, my gross income is $63,236, and my total miles is 80,467. That averages out to $2,258 per week and 2,874 miles. Estimated out over 52 weeks, my estimated annual is $117,438. Year-to-date numbers, as of week 28 of 2025, I've been paid for 80,467 miles, covering 32 states, making 199 stops, 94% of those miles have been loaded, averaging 78.6 cents per mile. Here's the home time that I've taken this payroll year through the end of the 28th week. I have been on home time 17 times so far, totaling 44.3 days. I also have 5 overnight breaks at the house and 11 paid 34-hour resets on the road. I am not paid hourly, but let's calculate like an hourly job. For the week, my gross pay was $2,045 for 57 hours of work. If we break it down into a typical hourly job, it could be 40 regular hours and 17 hours of overtime, resulting in an effective pay rate of $31.42 per hour. For the year, my gross pay so far is $63,236 for 1,630 hours of work. If we break it down into a typical hourly job, it could be 1,089 regular hours and 542 hours of overtime, resulting in an effective pay rate of $33.26 per hour. Taking a look at the if only truck drivers were paid for every hour in the truck calculation page. 28 weeks have gone by so far. That totals 4,704 hours. I have been at home 1,062 of those hours. That works out to 3,642 hours from the pre-trip leaving home to the post-trip returning home. My compensation through week 28 is $63,236. That works out to $17.36 per hour away from home. As always, make sure you're enjoying every day at work.